All right, buckle up, because what I'm about to tell you, you already know is true. And that's exactly why you might not finish reading this. See, there's a specific type of truth that don't even get a fair trial. It gets sentenced the moment it shows up, not because it's wrong, but because it's right in the worst possible way. Let me paint you a picture. Marcus, 34 years old, good dude, works hard, got dreams, and a woman who's been figuring herself out for 3 years. She cancels plans last minute, forgets important dates, starts arguments out of nowhere, then disappears for days. His boys tell him straight up, "Bruh, she don't respect you." And you know what Marcus says? "Nah, y'all don't understand. She's been through a lot. She's healing." His sister pulls him aside, shows him the patterns. "Marcus, she's using you as a backup plan." He gets defensive. Y'all always trying to tear down black love. Even his mama, and you know when mama speaks up, it's serious. She sits him down and says, "Baby, love shouldn't feel like you're constantly begging for crumbs." Marcus smiles, nods, then goes right back to texting that woman, apologizing for existing, basically. Now here's where it gets wild. Marcus knows. Deep down, he knows his people are right. But see, accepting that truth would cost him something he's not ready to pay. His illusion. The story he's been telling himself. "I found the one. We're building something. It's complicated, but it's real." That story is load-bearing. It's holding up his whole identity right now. Because if she's not the one, if he's not building something, if it's not complicated love, but simple disrespect, then what has he been doing for 3 years? And that question, that's the truth he's rejecting before it even finishes the sentence. Here's the thing nobody wants to admit. Truth don't get rejected because people are stupid. It gets rejected because people are protective. Let me break down why people slam the door on truth even when they know it's standing right there. Reason 1. The illusion is more comfortable than reality. Reality says, you've been wasting time. The illusion says, you've been investing. One makes you a fool. The other makes you patient. Guess which one the ego prefers? The illusion got benefits. It keeps hope alive. It delays grief. It protects the story you've been telling everyone, including yourself. And the moment you accept the truth, you gotta rewrite everything. That's exhausting. So the mind does a cost-benefit analysis real quick. Accept the truth and rebuild from scratch, or keep the illusion and just manage the pain. Most people choose management. Reason 2. The truth threatens identity. This the big one. See, some truths don't just contradict your beliefs, they contradict who you think you are. Marcus ain't just in denial about the relationship. He's in denial about being the type of dude who tolerate disrespect. Because in his mind, he's strong, he's discerning, he's got standards. But the truth says, you've been accepting less than you deserve for years. And accepting that means accepting a version of himself he don't recognize. So he rejects the truth to protect the self-image, even if the self-image is a lie. Reason 3. Accepting the truth requires action. Here's the killer. Some truths come with assignments. If Marcus admits his boys are right, he gotta leave. And leaving means starting over, being alone, admitting failure, facing judgment. That's a whole operation. But if he keeps rejecting the truth, he can stay comfortable in his discomfort. Crazy, right? People would rather live in familiar pain than unfamiliar freedom. Because familiar pain got a routine, freedom got uncertainty, and uncertainty is scarier than suffering. Reason 4. The truth comes from the wrong messenger. Sometimes it ain't even about the truth itself, it's about who said it. Marcus's boys could say the exact same thing a therapist would say, but because it's coming from the homies, y'all just hating. His sister could break it down with receipts, you're just jealous. Even his mama, who literally gave him life, you don't know her like I do. People reject truth based on the messenger when the message is too painful to accept. It's easier to disqualify the source than deal with the information. Reason 5. The truth destroys the future they imagined. This one's brutal. Marcus ain't just holding on to a woman, he's holding on to a timeline. In his mind, they already got a future. Engagement by next year, wedding after that, kids, the whole vision. But if he accepts the truth, that whole future evaporates. And now he gotta grieve a life that never even existed. That grief hits different, so he rejects the truth to keep the fantasy alive, even if the fantasy is slowly killing him. Now let's talk about what this costs, because rejection ain't free. Disadvantage 1. Delayed consequences. Truth don't disappear just because you ignore it. It waits. And every day Marcus rejects what's obvious, the situation gets worse. She gets more comfortable disrespecting him. He gets more comfortable shrinking. By the time he finally accepts the truth, and he will eventually, the damage is 10 times deeper. Disadvantage 2. Eroded self-trust. Here's the psychological trap. Every time Marcus's gut says something's wrong, and his mouth says, nah, it's fine, he's training himself not to trust his own instincts. And once you stop trusting yourself, you become easy to manipulate by everyone. Disadvantage 3. Resentment builds in silence. All that rejected truth don't just vanish, it turns into resentment toward the people who told him, toward the woman who confirmed it with her actions, but mostly toward himself for knowing better and staying anyway. And that self-resentment is toxic. It seeps into everything, his confidence, his decisions, his future relationships. Disadvantage 4. You become a cautionary tale. People stop being honest with you, because why would they? You've shown them that truth gets punished with denial, so they stop trying. And now you're surrounded by people who just nod along while you spiral. That's isolation dressed up as support. Disadvantage 5. Reality always collects. Here's the final cost. Reality is patient, but it always gets paid. You can reject the truth for months, years even, but eventually life forces the reckoning. She leaves him for somebody else, or he finally breaks after one disrespect too many, or his health starts failing from the stress. Reality collects with interest. So here's the uncomfortable truth about rejected truths. They're not rejected because they're false. They're rejected because they're expensive. Accepting them costs comfort, identity, hope, the future you imagined. And most people would rather pay in time and dignity than pay in honesty and action. But here's what nobody tells you. The longer you reject the truth, the more expensive it gets, because truth compounding interest is brutal. Marcus will eventually accept what his people told him, but by then, 3 years will be 5, 5 will be 7, and the version of himself he could have been will be a ghost he never got to meet. So next time truth shows up at your door, before you slam it shut, ask yourself, am I rejecting this because it's wrong or because it's right in a way I can't afford to admit yet? Because the answer to that question, that's the truth you really don't want to hear, but it might be the one that finally sets you free. Psychologically, this makes perfect sense. Truth threatens 3 things people guard with their life. First, identity. If the truth contradicts who you believe you are, the brain doesn't process it as information, it processes it as danger, so it reacts accordingly. Second, status. Some truths would force people to step down from moral high ground, from superiority, from victimhood, from control. And power, even imaginary power, is hard to give up. And third, certainty. Truth introduces doubt, and doubt feels like instability. So people choose a lie that feels solid over a truth that feels shaky.